So guys, is KULR technology the next big player in clean energy and space innovation? That's the question. And with connections to NASA, SpaceX, and breakthroughs in battery safety, this stock could be the ticket to explosive growth in 2025. Let's break it down why KULR might just be the hottest stock that you might not be watching yet. Let's get into it. So KULR stock, you guys can see here, we're on the Sunday outlook, so we haven't got into market open here, and we got our overnight view. And this is the support that we've seen KULR establish. It's this rising support, and it sounds crazy, but literally this year they were valued at 50 cents a share, and right now the stock is almost $5 a share. So you see this rising support level really started to break out even more right here. Part of that could be because some of this was artificial sell-off due to the Fed announcement, and that could be why. So we could actually see more of a trend looking like that. Could be a little bit more accurate like that. And now we see that if it's going to continue its trend and be consistent, then we would most likely see it, sell back down a little bit before continuing up. What we don't know is how much true value is going to be seen in the financials. We've seen the news and we'll go into it. But the truth is that every time that it's broken up above this previous resistance, it's continually found support. So what that means is right here, this is a previous resistance that then, it broke up above and it didn't even really need it as support, continued up. Then we could see another support. So this is a previous resistance, there's the support, okay? And then you can see this is a resistance level right here, and then that acted as support right here. And so it just continually breaks up and then uses that breakout as support. Now, after really bulling up, now we see this new established support at 428. What I'm expecting for this week, we know that a lot of stocks, for example, sell off right at market open oftentimes. What we could see is that I would imagine KULR will be selling off into this early week, and what we could see is a sell-off to essentially make this trend a little bit more consistent. And maybe it's absolutely parabolic. Maybe it's going perfectly up, straight up from here. I mean, you have great connections in the news that we'll go into, but to see it as overextended as it was back here around $5.50, it had to pull back with the greater market as it did the day after, the second day after Christmas. And now we're seeing, getting into this new week that I believe we could potentially see some money come out of KULR stock to basically liquidity sweep a little bit down to maybe $3.50 somewhere in this resist or the support before continuing up into the year. The other case would be that it does hold this level here and it continues up, and that's quite possible. I would say it's more likely it'll sell back down after looking at some of the technicals. So that's the technical side of things. We look at three things when we're analyzing a stock. We have the technicals or the analysis, we have the markets, and we have the actual plan when we put together a stock plan. So the potential here with KULR stock is mostly what we're seeing in the news. Those technicals aren't something that you'd see and you say, oh yeah, it looks like a buy. They look okay. But the news with KULR stocks, there's a couple things. This is straight from NASDAQ. So we're not going to just random popular articles. We're looking here on NASDAQ. KULR Technology Group to launch KULR One space battery with SpaceX rideshare mission in 2026. So KULR is a company that develops carbon fiber thermal resistant carbon fiber material. And not only that, they work in AI. They work with companies to provide batteries that are also very resistant in extreme thermal temperatures. So they work with NASA, they work with SpaceX, and part of that is, as you can see, it's laid out here in this, is that the mission says including next generation low temperature cells. So they work with batteries down to the cellular level to make sure that they're able to withstand tremendous temperature fluctuations, which is exactly what SpaceX would be looking for, right? We're looking for the type of batteries that can withstand space temperatures from extreme heats to extremely cold. And they've done a very good job at creating these batteries and partnering with SpaceX, not just Elon, or not just SpaceX, but also with Elon and other industries as well. And we can get into that. Now, the other thing we saw with KULR stock was that they're recently acquired a large purchase of Bitcoin, and that's what they're doing with all of their excess cash. I think that's a really good move. I mean, basically they're saying if we're holding cash on hand, it's either going to depreciate with inflation, let's say 5% or something a year, or we could put all of a large percentage, which in this case was 90% of its surplus cash, towards Bitcoin and hold it in Bitcoin. And guys, if you look at Bitcoin over the past 5 years, if you were trying to buy a house 5 years ago, it was 94%. It's 94% harder to buy a house today if you're holding cash, as opposed if you're holding Bitcoin. It's 94% easier to buy a house. So you have to think about where they're putting their cash as well. So let's say they are buying 21 million right here. That strategy, basically with the average returns of Bitcoin, say a conservative estimate of 30% to 50% year over year, that's 21 million. If we see that happen, that's an extra, just basically an extra $4 or $5 million, give or take, every year that they can do. And that can make a big difference with a smaller company, because as you can tell with KULR stock, they are a smaller company. And we've looked deeply into their financials, and there's a few things that do, you're buying what could be, in a sense. When you look at their net income, it's negative 2 million. Their net profit margins are negative 62%. Operating income is negative 1.7 million. But these are really, really, really small numbers, just a million or two, when you look at the type of industry they're in. I mean, they're working with SpaceX, they're working with NASA. To be only negative a million or 2 million when you're working in such a tremendous market, I mean, that's absolutely insane. That's a great thing to see. So they're up and coming. They're building out their financials to be more promising. And I think that breakthrough news with the working with SpaceX, but also that's getting traction and people are noticing that. But also with the Bitcoin, there's two things. Some people say it's hype. Sure, that will play a role. They might get more sales. They might get more purchase of their stock because people buy into the hype. But outside of the hype, it's actually, in my eyes, a smart financial decision for the company. There's been a lot of talk about how they're working with kind of in the drone industry. And I think it was Para0 that we were looking at. And, this isn't too new. We've looked at a good amount of the news with KULR. The catalyst that we've seen for KULR stock has been that they're just simply getting more eyeballs on what it is that they're already doing. I haven't seen anything in the past week. I mean, you see a lot of hype articles, but you don't see anything that's like this recent contract that just happened yesterday. Not seeing that, but to know that they're working with SpaceX, to know that they're working with NASA, Army, Navy, I think it's, this Para0, which I was looking for but don't see. Those are things that, they just play a really big role in when people find this stock, they see that value. And so they also just had some news that was actually new, which was, I think it was something to do with Texas. Let me search Texas institutional adoption. There's something here with something to do with, was it their headquarters? Okay. This wasn't that new. I guess that's March. Okay. KULR opens new research and development center in Texas. All right. So this actually isn't new news, but it was something that the reason that it's interesting is because why is Texas the best place? Well, you could see, they're near NASA. Okay. It's close proximity to engineering organizations such as Marquis or Lockheed Martin, KBR Wiley, if they're in Texas, right, they're close to XAI, they're close to all of the headquarters of Elon's companies. And I know that, it's becoming more of a space hub, especially near Austin there. And those are companies that outside of SpaceX, they're working with Lockheed Martin and some other companies. And that's always good to see that they're in close proximity. And I think that's one of the biggest concerns. Like, for example, a company like Taiwan Semiconductor, you love that it's Taiwan Semiconductor is providing for NVIDIA and all these different companies to basically grow their semiconductor companies. But they're in Taiwan. And what happens when we have, extra, tariffs, or what happens when things change? Taiwan Semiconductors moved some operations into Phoenix as a result, and you have these movements that happen. I believe that's right. Let me just double check. I think it was Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, yeah, all right. So they got a chip plant, and Taiwan Semiconductor, nearly 9K units planned near here in Phoenix. Yeah, that's something recently happened. And the reason you have that happen is because, you don't want to be an outside, you don't want to be too far from the action. And so that's what we see here with KULR, right? They're right near the action, right near all the companies that are innovating. And then also CEO Michael Moe. There's a lot of interesting stuff about this CEO, because I've heard that a lot of people are anticipating, I guess it was another company that he had been in, that he worked in, that he had sold, or he had skyrocketed the company basically from a very, very small market cap. And I don't know, let's see, it's KULR Technology Group. I don't know what the other company was. Maybe we can look and see. But there was something interesting about this CEO and how he operates. And I'm going to do more research on that so I can get you guys some better things. But yeah, technicals looking a little overextended. Probably see a sell-off. Would like to maybe look to buy a dip at market open. Long term looks great. If not, if it doesn't sell off here, or it does, long term looks good with the news and the financials. And we'll be getting to some other quantum computer companies as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys are interested in semiconductors or other companies, like for example AMD, we have a sale going on right now that if you enroll in Stockmate to watch me trade live at market open, let's say we see an opportunity tomorrow that we can take advantage of, and you want to be a part of that, well, you can join Stockmate's second link in the description to watch me trade live. And if with our current promotion, this is how it is. If AMD stock hits $160 by March 20th, then you get Stockmate absolutely free of charge, and I'll refund you. So if that's something you're interested in, you see value in AMD, then you can get twice as much value by enrolling in Stockmate right now. And we got a holiday sale for $150 off till the end of the year. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. If I earned a thumbs up, hit that like button. Do consider subscribing. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.